Hello again, Glitch Reaper here. I'm back for a little bit more of some rather focused Engender testing. I have my testing girl Whyla with me again. This time, come on, Windows, with your uber sensitivity. Why can't you be cool like you used to be? She's incredibly armored up right now. Yeah, that's not... The armor is not what we're testing, but it is good armor, so I wanted to make sure that because these kobolds are rather offensive, that she had some decent armor on, so Armor of the Deep from Abyssal Craft. Again, not what we're testing. We're going to be testing various things with Aether and possibly Aether 2. These are Holy Stone... the thing again. Come on, let me just... that is so irritating. I wish I knew that exactly what was going on, and if there was a way to actually adjust it. But so far, the answer is no, not really. It's just some... I can't find the setting right now. I might be able to take a few trips in to figure out if I can figure out how I can get my mouse sensitivity down in terms of hitting the buttons. But right now, I'm not quite sure. Anyhow, as I was going to say, I'm going to be testing out the weapons from Aether and Aether 2. Right now she's got Holy Stone swords, but there's others I'd like to test. Right now I'm going to be popping the difficulty back to normal so that kobolds show up, or whatever they're called. I think it was kobolds. You know, the little guys like hiding in the grass from Divine RPG? Those guys? Because I know it does not take long for them to show up, and she totally will seek and destroy them. Or at least seek them out, whether or not she destroys them. And hence why I gave her good armor, is because she might get wrecked. They hit pretty hard for something with such low HP. So, yeah, that's something I ran into as a slight complication, but it also comes in handy, because I know that as long as she's got good armor, and there's one. Coblin, not kobold, Coblin. Okay, need to get used to that. Okay, anyhow, she's got a Holy Stone sword, well, a pair of them. So let's see if any... Let's see if it does any drops, because Holy Stone's purpose is to drop, well, special shards of Ambrosium. So if she drops any of that along the way, I'll know that she's working out fine. I may have to give her some healing at some point. So far, it's not looking like they're dropping any. Oh, back over. She's not sneaking back to me. She's going all out. She is losing some health overall, so I might have to grab her. Let her recover for a little while. Of course, the armor does help. It's good armor. Nope, no shards of Ambrosium. Wait a moment. Does that mean the Abyssal Craft integration is working with the armor? So I'm trying to remember if it gives you any recovery or anything like that. Because he could have figured out how to get the armor to work with them properly. That was something we were talking about, is getting like armor effects to actually work so that your army could actually use them. Because sometimes that would be a bit of a trick. So I know he collabed with Shino a bit, and I don't know if they'd worked out how to get the armor to do that. I have not observed a single Ambrosium drop yet, so I'm gonna have to swap out her swords. Okay, she's been leveling up, and that's been part of her recovery. Please don't... Well, I don't know if that would hurt her with the armor on. I'm trying to remember if it's got any kind of fire protection. Because that stuff's hot. It's, some kind of liquid tar type stuff. Okay, when she's fully recovered, I'll swap out her gear a bit. Well, I'll grab her first, then I'll swap out her gear. Because it does not seem to be there... Well, whatever it is, she's immune to it, so... Fine. Okay. So that doesn't necessarily work. I mean, it could, but I'm not 100% sure because it's an occasional drop, and I don't know if Fortune helps. I will also swap over to Aether 2 after a while and assess those. Again, Windows, because you go here. Yep, well, the armor is working in terms of its durability. Doesn't seem she's using up durability on the swords. So, okay, that's you know, I don't really need this leather armor right now, because I'm no longer doing a 4th of July thing. So I might actually use this set of armor myself. And see and remind myself what effects it has. Might only be if you're in survival. Well, maybe, maybe not. But yeah, it gives a lot of effects. I think maybe it was the leveling up was why she was recovering health, so... Some of these effects are irrelevant because mobs don't deal with needing night vision, so... Yeah, this time I'm going to make sure to try to click her only once with a sword. And I'm going to dispense with the Holy Stone Sword since I know that's not necessarily doing its thing. Or at least I don't think it is. Gravitite should be a bit more obvious as they'll be flung upwards. At least I think it'll work that way with this. Okay, you take some armor on. This time I've only got one of that. Did that get duped? I think it did. Not entirely sure. Well, it seems to be fine. Okay. I had a weird miscellaneous piece of armor over there. But the fact is I just need her to have her set. This does clog your field of vision. But it's still incredibly useful armor. You just gotta be cautious with it. Okay. I am going to deploy her again in normal. And look for Coblin. And set her loose, seeing if I can see if the sword having if the sword having launch works for them. Because I'm not entirely sure if it works as well for a mob having it. I'm trying to remember if you have to in attack or if you just hit. Okay, he flung upward a little bit. So that's working. If she gets the right hit and it's not like right up against her anyhow. Because that seems to be a problem. It has to be like a clean strike where she's got a little bit of reach in between. She did bump it upward though, but that could just be her knocking it out of the ground. So I'm pondering that. Is that what's going on? Is she launching them properly? Well, let's see here. Goblins, just when I'm actually looking for them. They decide to nope out on me. But this is why we have teleports. Like her first strike does, but then afterwards not so much. So it might be her just knocking them out of the ground. Okay, so maybe? Maybe not. Again, some of these swords are a little easier to identify what they do. So, okay, so we got that. So let's take out that part and give her a flaming sword. Okay, flaming sword is now her focused weapon. It should be a lot more obvious when it catches things on fire. So we'll see if this one works. Okay. Set back to normal. She has a flaming sword. They basically have a fire aspect ability built right in. So, kind of a simple reason. Of course, I might hit one a few times just to make sure that it's happening right for myself here. Okay, Coblin. I need to test on you. May involve a flaming sword. Just need to roam around until I see one. Because of the way that they show up, it's actually kind of easy to spot them against the grass. Because they kind of create this weird spot. Dun 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 dun. I'm hunting goblins. I did turn it back to normal though, right? So I'm pretty sure that I did. Yeah, I did. So they should be showing up anytime now. Because in my experience, they can do so pretty frequently. But right now, they're getting a little shy of getting whacked. Because the weed whacking is something that they're a little scared of. Okay, let me see if I can... Get that off your head and then hit. Oh yeah, that should flame instantly. Now, is it like a guaranteed roastage, is what I'm wondering? Wow, that burns for a long time. He may actually... This goblin might actually die from my first hit, it's so roasty. Didn't see that coming. Like the curse of eternal fire. One more, and... Yep, he died from one attack. The fire lasted that long. I was just wanting... okay, I do have another to test on, because I just wanted to see if it was, like, guaranteed to set on fire. It seems to be. It seems to be. This guy I'm going to put out of his misery a lot faster, because I was curious before, but now I know that it's pretty much a guaranteed fire. So, whenever I unleash her here, you should definitely be roasting very soon. Okay. No! They're not really conveying their effects as much as I thought. So it's probably true throughout most of Aether 1. It doesn't transfer the effects properly. Wow, she's really making some distance though. Okay, can you just recover there for a while? Because I need to, swap out your gear a bit. So a couple more HP, and here we go. Okay, so Aether 1 stuff isn't seemingly working very much. Now, there are some curiosities there, like, the Valkyrie Lance has extended reach. That's its primary property. And so that should mean that she can hit them from farther away, even if it's not, like, dealing any other kind of special effect. So, we'll see if that works. Okay, so you're going to be equipped up a bit differently this time. It does look a little weird to me. Oh, come on. Let me... Admittedly, that is kind of... Did I get some accidentally equipped? I can leave it on. It's okay. Yeah, it's good armor, actually. So let's do this again with the Valkyrie Lance, which should have the property of extended reach regardless. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. It doesn't actually say it on the weapon, like it does as a weapon property, but it does have it. It's what it's there for. The Valkyrie Lance has been one of the old classics for a long time. Let your rock and roll at a decent range. Okay, that was pretty soon for a find. Okay, so let's pop her down. Oh, that looked like a little extended at the first strike, actually. So that might actually work. Oh, she criticaled him. Oh, goner. Yeah. Now, it will charge into point-blank range anyhow, but the fact is she's getting the first hit at range. So, reach properties do work as long as it's a basic property of the weapon. That's really fascinating to know. Okay, okay. Now, we can kind of use Engender to generalize mob equipment type things, actually. So this is also generally figuring out how this system works, but also note that Doom might eventually figure ways to kind of get around certain old problems of things you normally couldn't do with equipment on mobs, because it is kind of his idea of having them do things pretty much the way players could over time. Okay, so that worked. The Valkyrie Lance actually worked. Flaming Sword? No. But the Valkyrie Lance? Yes. I mean, finally we have something that actually extends the system properly. That's pretty cool. I was thinking it'd wind up being something else, but okay. Now, Pig Slayer is going to be an interesting thing, because I'm going to have to, like, make a zombie pigman and see if she can instantly slay it, because that's what it's there for. But I'm going to try out Hammer of Knotch next. This might just be mostly Ether 1. We'll see. We'll see how long this takes. Okay, you just, whoop, let me... She always tries to sneak around me whenever I do the sneak, but I need to do the sneak to get her stuff off, so... That's a little bit of an odd little... Okay, I accidentally made her dual wield them, but I'm fine with that. Because this whole thing makes it weird to equip whenever that happens, so whatever. I'm just going to go with it and just let it happen. Sometimes, as long as it's letting her have 2 copies and not causing things to be undone, I'm cool with it. Now, Hammer of Nagy has a range option, and it's a pretty big one. But it also has decent melee damage. I don't know if she'll figure out how to throw the hammer, because that is kind of an advanced function, and I don't know if they can figure that out, because it's kind of a use function. Like, use this for ranged attack, but it's a cool ranged attack. Like, you've probably seen it go. Yeah, Hammer of Knotch. I'm in creative, so it has no cooldown or limitation, so that's a bit of a different story. But Hammer of Knotch is cool. Ah, our first goblins. And I gotta make sure that she shows up at range and tries to go for him. Otherwise, I won't be able to test out if she's trying to figure out the range. Okay. She does look interesting trying to dual wield. Right now, it's just following the rules for dual wield melee. Yep, she's just coming in and dual wielding with melee. So she registers it as a melee weapon only. Slightly disappointing, but it's still useful. I mean, she will hit them with the hammer. Wah! Hammers! She just goes in for immediate hammer time. That's all. Okay. Is there now no other mobs around? Like, can you just recover for a while? I do need to get her... You know, I might also test out a little bit of food, actually. So that's an interesting idea. Give her some food. Okay, Yeah. I kinda got to. It's one of the ultimates. I mean, I kinda got to. Hey, what? Okay. Needed to put it back to peaceful so she wouldn't run towards all the goblins. Okay. Here you go. I'm giving you a little food. So, have a nibble. When you need to. When you need to. They'll store them for later. So, she might munch that later. Okay, let's see here. So Hammer of Knotch, oddly enough, doesn't really work out the way I was hoping it would. This does seem to have range. It appears to, anyhow. Lightning Sword should engage pretty spectacularly. I'm going to test a few rounds of that out first before unleashing her with it. Holy Sword smites undead, like, instantly. That might be pretty dramatic to test, alongside Pig Slayer. In fact, the same mob could pretty much do so. Might go with that. Vampire Blade would be interesting, but hard to really test with her healing already. Well, I could kind of engage anyhow. So let's work in Holy Sword, shall we? The dual-wielded hammers of Knotch was pretty insane. I've got it on peaceful, so she's just walking around randomly. Okay, you have a Holy Sword, and this should be... Wrong button. This should be interesting. So she has a Holy Sword, and its purpose is to rapidly smite undead. So I'm going to experiment with this a little bit myself, just to see just how effective this really is. And obviously zombie pigmen, because they can't burn in sunlight like they don't ever take damage from it. Otherwise known as Ziglins now, because of updates, but hey, we're in a version way before that. So we can appreciate the snoutness of it all. Or rather, the lack of snout. Wow, that deals a lot of bonus damage to undead. But it's not really an insta-kill. Or insta-destroy. But man, that hits hard. I mean, look at this. 20 HP. It does 14 damage if hitting an undead. That is very heavy smite. Now, if I were to critical... assuming he doesn't juke me there. That was about the same, because I didn't quite crit on him, but I wanted to see if I could instantly take him out. Yes, you can. If you get him in a situation where you can critical, you can just obliterate. So now I know that that can work. So let's give her a few, like, let's say typical gang of 5. Okay, go nuts, Whyla. Go nuts. Do I have to punch one? I will punch one. She is 2-hitting him, but I don't know just how much bonus damage she's actually getting out of that. Did you actually... Did you not take the food? Just a moment. Did you not actually take... I know it's specialty food, but did you not take the food? Is that the issue here? Because I can... wrong thing. I need to go to Aether Foods, see if at least some food counts. How about I give you an enchanted berry? Well, she's holding it. That's kind of a good sign. So she can two-hit him with it, so maybe it's not showing the damage properly, but it's still dealing a kind of bonus damage. So this one is on the maybe level? I mean, I kind of got to test out the lightning... Well, Pig Slayer should be even more obvious. So let me... unpeaceful it for a little while here. And just see if this works out properly for me before trying it with her. It's a typical gang of about 5. Yeah. Instant destruction to anything porcine. And the splash damage is ridiculous. I'm not sure. Did I see like 3,000 or something like on there? Obviously, it doesn't do the same to other undead. But still, that is totally instant. That should be like total wipeout every time. So that should make it really obvious. So I'll give her Pig Slayer. Pig Slayer is about the same as an iron sword normally, but against anything porcine, it's an insta-slay. So let's... And I can kind of say that even for undead, because they are just gone. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to equip you up a little differently. You have pigs. That looks bigger in hand than it does in the... Okay, some things look more impressive or less impressive whenever you... I mean, there's a lot of things that look less impressive whenever you actually are using them yourself and are, like, actually equipped. But then there's some that look more impressive, like, you know, the giant sword looks, like, massive whenever you hold it. It's just ridiculous. But it's kind of a rare find to see those ones that look really impressive whenever you're holding on to them. So I'm glad that that one shows up that way. It's not, like, crazy big, but at least it looks bigger than this thing that looks like a little hand knife. Okay, so again, let's do classic gang of about 5. And then you have Pig Slayer. Will you slay the pigs? It doesn't look instant. No, it does not convey its special property. They're somehow not... That was weird for a while. That was very odd. You might need some food. There you go. I see you going for it. Wow, she has a long aggro range. Whip. Haha, I caught you on transition that time. So Pig Slayer does not work. That's okay, in a way, I guess. But it was good to test. Now, am I still in... I'm still on normal, so let me see how often the lightning sword works. It's been a while since I've used this baby. Of course, it's also extremely dangerous. Seems like every time. Ironically, not rendering lightning every time, but doing it every time. Yeah, that's gonna be very impressive if it works. Yeah. Okay, Whyla, I have your next major test. Lightning Sword. Again, very nice that the extra reach seems to operate. So, seems so far our major winner has been the Valkyrie Lance, and to a degree the Holy Sword, because it seems to be working, but I don't know if the damage has been revealing itself that well. Okay, time to get... I may need to refresh your armor entirely at some point, or give you a different set. Because that's getting a little down there, and I'd like to give you some food. Just, if that would work as food, it would be very nice. So, let's hope. Because it's supposed to be food. I mean, come on. It's supposed to be food. But yeah, poor Pig Slayer. It didn't really work. I tried. I tried testing it, but that's why I test, is to know if it works. Okay, now I did put that on normal, right? Because the next thing that's going to happen is whenever I unleash, there's going to be some lightning. Kind of. Although it'd be very weird if it rendered for her and not for me. Wasn't thinking about that until just now. Okay, this is on... yeah, it is on normal, so I was right. Because I'd prefer her to get revenge on goblins. And... hello, golden nymph. You're very nice. Ah, a goblin. Okay, you have a lightning sword. Electrocute. Electrocute at 66. Doesn't entirely work like that, but... I can only hope. In fact, it's just doing, like, normal-ish damage, so... I'm pretty sure, actually, the Holy Sword wasn't doing extra damage. I think it's just how Wither Skeletons and Wither Skeleton Girls compound their own damage on top of the weapon. Yoink! Gotcha while you healed and before you got to him. So, on second thought, I don't think the Holy Sword was really working. I know Vampire Blade is going to be weird to test, but I want to try to do it, because it should give a surge of healing whenever striking a target. That I won't be able to show myself very well, but we'll see. If maybe it can help them out, because she does take a lot of damage overall from those goblins, even with such great armor. So that is an impressively strong hit that she's been taking from those guys. Okay, let's let's do this again. Vampire. Oh, you're gonna do a wield this time. Again, I accept that. Why? Because I didn't mean to equip it on me. She moved out of the way at just the right spot. Okay. There we go. And of course that dupes the helmet. So I wind up having another one that I have to move around. But yeah, the lightning sword is supposed to be guaranteed, and it's not working. At least not in her hands. So there's a lot of them that have to have some sort of event trigger or something, and it's not doing it quite right. I will give her the ranged option in a little while, but to be perfectly fair, people don't realize this about vanilla wither skeletons, but they usually use flaming arrows, so that one won't exactly be as indicative as you might think. Although I might get out a normal skeleton girl to show it off, because that might be a good way of testing. Of course, just seeing that she'd be using flaming arrows should help. Okay, so... out of peaceful. Into normal. Watch out for goblins. And then unleash Whyla, the testing girl. She has to do this. Why? Well, it's partially why I named her Whyla. Is why. I just thought it was a pretty interesting twist on the word and turning it into a name. Aha! Goblin. See, I can hunt these guys pretty quickly, because that really looks really light-colored compared to the surrounding, and there's this dark circle, so their camouflage ironically backfires. Okay, let's release her on a view and see how this works. She is dual wielding them right now. Now she did just level up, so that complicates things just slightly. She does seem to be taking less damage overall, but that could be the leveling up. Oh, she is at a higher... Okay, I didn't see her recover on impact there, but I'm trying to remember even every time whenever you use it. But that one might have been. This one is a maybe? Whoa. Lag surge. Lag surge. Yep. Lag surge. Ugh. I think a bunch of goblins just, like, spawned in all at once and lag attacked me. They got their revenge by a lag. Okay, now. Okay. It might just be her normal regen. But it does do decent melee damage, so that does help. Oh boy. Whyla. Whyla. You might have to refresh you if you take that thing on. Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, at least you're fireproof with the armor. But don't do it. Whyla. That's a lobber. Well, your withering effect certainly helps. And admittedly, you are fireproof, but can you handle the magic damage? Apparently you could. Well, that was an interesting way to finish off the use of Vampire Blade. Okay, didn't see that one coming. So this one is probably no. I'm pretty sure that was just her natural regen. Candy cane sword. Let's get delicious. Hopefully. Kind of like with the Holy Stone sword, however, its special ability is based on dropping items whenever it hits things. And not all the time, although from my experience with candy cane swords in the past, they tend to have a pretty high drop rate. So, should come off pretty fascinating, actually. Well, I am kind of disappointed she isn't using this as food, so let me whip out a normal food just to see if she's accepting it properly. Mutton. Yeah. That ought to work. Okay. Okay, you are getting a candy cane sword, which is very stripy. Good armor. And... oh, she's just holding it for now, but... whatever. This is lower attack, though, by a good margin, so this might not be... oh, well, I'll just hold on to this, I suppose. This will be the next thing that I'm going to be testing. Then that should be it for this testing run. But so far, the champion of things that actually work in Aether 1, has been Valkyrie Lance. So, we'll see if this can work. Okay. Normal. I might do a few whacks with this to show what I mean. But yeah, we're taking on that lobber. I'm going, okay. But hey, she had fireproof from the armor, so it worked out fine. Of course, she's also a wither skeleton, and they're already fireproof, so you know. Yeah, I don't even think that armor grants fireproof. I think that was all her being a wither skeleton girl. So I guess they're naturally equipped to take on lobbers. Can I get a little item drop action here? Oh yeah. See? That was like 4 of them from it, but that was with me not having a base attack power. So, because I am not a wither skeleton. Aw. Hey, Wisps, are you playing ball? Sweet, you're doing it pretty long range, too. Good game. Well, you almost caught it. Maybe if I could push the... There we go. Are you now into ball range? Can you play ball? Oh, you have to recognize the game. Come on, Wisp. That's the rules. You pass it back and forth. See, that was trying to initiate with you. See, you got it. Okay, good for you. I just had to see the Wisp play ball. it's a totally a thing. Okay. Now, how many of you... Well, she... Okay, so she's not dealing too much bonus damage for her own strength, but we'll see. Are you taking out the Wisps? They were neutral! They're not offensive initially. They're neutral. Aww. Poor Wisps. I will accept your items and honor you. Okay. Whole, like, pool full of... Why? Oh, that's why you're jumping. You're trying to jump slash that Efreet there. Okay. Still not seeing any drops. So far the only thing that's really had any, like, good possibility of it actually being working in terms of its extended properties has been the extra reach from... Oh, that is funny. The extra reach from the, Valkyrie Lance, in fact. I was pondering having her swap weapons just to work with that. Again, not a single drop. Not a single candy cane has came about. So the candy cane sword does not candy cane. Okay. Just a moment. That's why I got that here. Dispose of extra stuff pretty quickly. Yep, okay. Peaceful. Okay, I'm going to give you a little interesting chance here as a last thing for Ether 1. It's called, I'm going to give you back the Valkyrie Lance. Your full armor that I've been letting you have. So, Armor of the Deep. And I want to see you take on something higher in the air so that it's more obvious. Because that Afrit gave me an idea. The better way to test this is up against a high-up enemy. So, let's get a high-up enemy. Let me see here. Where's the thing about... Okay, there we go. Imps. So I'm going to manifest this one up in a tree. Now I'm going to put you here, and now these guys are hostile immediately normally. You have the Valkyrie Lance. You're going this way, though. To be perfectly fair, there is an Afrit over there. Do I have a... Huh. My settings are a little off. that might have something to do with it. There's gotta be something below that I'm not seeing. Because something is hitting her. Oh yeah, one of them was hiding. That does in fact make a lot of sense. Now can she reach? Because if she can jump hit that, then she almost did. She almost did. What's the... Okay. She didn't go full on direct underneath and stab, but she got close. So it does appear that we get a little extended range with that, although not necessarily as much as a player does, because let me illustrate the point here. Because you get serious extended range with this as a player. Wait. Wow. She really got nailed down that time. I'm gonna illustrate this somehow. But let's just show what I mean. I'm gonna do this as the player here to illustrate why this thing is usually so cool and that it's good to have extended range. Because this thing normally has good reach. Yeah, go ahead and... Okay, let's see here. Should also work on things like squids. You see, that is extended range with that. Of course, I'm in creative, so it might be better if I did this in survival. But it gives you even more extended range, is part of the point. Like... You see, normally, you can't hit that far away, even with creative. Because this will extend your range by a certain number of blocks. Like, let me try to show how close I need to get now. See? I had to get much closer. It makes it very dramatic whenever you're using it as a weapon, because of that extended reach. Also deals good damage. You can see how much further away I can hit with the Valkyrie Lance. It's a pretty dramatic increase. So, for her to get any increase in melee range is pretty useful. So I think the Valkyrie Lance does work. It just may require a bit more visualization to understand. So there's that. But the other Aether weapons aren't really seemingly do... Oh, I almost forgot to do the Phoenix Bow. Okay. But again, I'm gonna have to get a different skeleton girl for that. Because they don't normally do flaming arrows or wither wood, so yeah. Well, wither skeletons. There we go. Skeleton. Now... let's... I don't actually need this armor anyhow. Oops, did I overshoot? I overshot. Armor of the deep. Okay. Okay. You will now be armored up in a different way. Why? Because it looks cool. Yes, that's a replacement. Now, I want you to take a different bow. This bow must be it. Do I have to... okay, I need to do the thing. I need to do the thing. Just a moment. Not that again. It's just slightly out of range, and it did me instead. Okay, you recover. Yeah, that double-clicking thing is very problematic. I'm gonna give you a Phoenix Bow. And then whenever I turn things on, I'll see if you can use flaming arrows. And because of this, I will probably grab another mop. Oh yeah, it's just renamed Carrier, that's right. So many rebalancing, and yet there's going to be more. Because there will be an update to Engender, and it's going to be fairly big. So, there's that. Okay, let's see if I can get something for her to properly flame shot. The Aether 2 weapons will, for the most part, be similar. Although some of them normally require special activation. Or at least they seem to. It's like a different thing with the Gravitite sword, where you'd have to sneak and attack with it. Okay, here we go. Will you flame shot? No. I can flame shot. I do not flame shot. At least you know how to strafe from all the way back. You know how to do the normal skeleton thing. So, you're good with that part, at least. I'm gonna have to make sure to keep her around, too, for those kinds of occasions. But so far, the only thing that's really proven itself so far has been the Valkyrie Lance. Oh well, I mean, I tried. This is why we test. Anyhow, I'll be logging off for now. I hope to hear from you all later. If you've got any suggestions of cool equipment that I should be testing with Engender, do kind of throw them out there. And bye for now, everybody.